To ensure I could give my boyfriend a nice gift for our anniversary, I chose to work a Christmas temp job. All I had to do was wear a reindeer costume and serve tourists on B Mountain for $80 an hour. At the top of the mountain, 15 degrees below zero, I was starving and could only hug a hot water bottle inside the costume to keep warm. Just when I was about to finish work and go home, the famous actress Savannah arrived, arm in arm with my boyfriend Ian, who was supposedly working a temp job as well. The two of them took advantage of the falling snow and passionately embraced in the wilderness. It was then that I realized that my boyfriend, who had made my life miserable for the past 3 years, was actually the heir to Ian's family's company. Since that's the case, I don't want to pretend anymore. I called the mother of the richest man in B City to admit my mistake. "Mom, that man you mentioned, I'll marry him." 1. The mother on the other end of the phone laughed so hard that her mouth couldn't close. "You should have figured it out a long time ago. That Ian is so stingy and shabby, he's not worthy of our Stella at all. When your father and I return to China, we'll come to pick you up immediately." Listening to her mother's familiar concern, tears fell involuntarily. I am the only daughter of the richest man in B City, with a wealth of wealth. But for Ian, I was willing to give up my luxurious life and endure hardships with him. But I never expected that Ian would actually be the young master of the Ian family's company. Watching me become increasingly haggard over the past 3 years, struggling to make a living and running around all day, he could still bear to hide this secret from me. Am I Stella so unbearable? Originally, I was waiting to pay the down payment for the house this year, settle down in B City, and then take him back to formally meet my parents. Now it seems that there is no need for this. A mere young master of the Ian family, my Stella family is not rare. "Stella, what are you standing there for? Hurry up and send a cup of soy milk to the guests to warm their stomachs." The manager urged me to hand over the soy milk that I had carefully prepared to me. In the past, I never touched the spring water with my 10 fingers. After choosing to be with him, my parents cut off all my financial support in a fit of anger. In order to support Ian, who was 2 years younger than me, to finish college, I even set up a street stall back then. Now this freshly ground soy milk has become a major selling point in B Mountain in winter. Ian and Savannah, who had already finished their passionate scene, sat side by side. After receiving the soy milk, Ian subconsciously took out a few red bills to give me a tip. I glanced at it roughly, 8 bills. This is the amount he needs to work 3 days in a code company to earn. We usually have to consider for 2 days, even for a buffet of 100 yuan. But after putting on the skin of a young master, Ian spends money without any distress. I don't know if he ever thought that I was still starving and freezing for 80 yuan, when he was spending money like water in a place where I couldn't see him. "This soy milk is so mellow. It tastes like the one you sent me before." Hearing Savannah say this, Ian took a sip, and in an instant his body visibly stiffened. I knew that he had tasted my craftsmanship. 1 second, 2 seconds. I watched Ian turn around and look at me in the costume. I don't know if it was a telepathy that worked, but he suddenly approached me. But I suddenly didn't have the strength to confront him face to face. I ran back to the staff lounge, and Ian chased after me, frantically pounding on the glass door. "Stella, listen to my explanation. Savannah is filming a movie. I'm just cooperating with Miss Savannah's performance." "Does the performance require kissing?" His palms have already reached into Savannah's underwear, rubbing her breasts. What else is there to explain? I'm not a fool. But it was him, Ian, who was having an affair. And I didn't want to be a coward either. Opening the door, my eyes were red. "Aren't you working part-time at the company? Didn't you say you were very busy tonight? Didn't you say that this order would earn enough money for the rent, so I don't have to go to the night shift anymore?" "Young Master Ian, with your wealth, what are you going to use to deceive me again?" Ian cautiously wanted to hold my hand, and his outstretched fingers were trembling. "No. Stella, it's not what you think." I really wanted to hear how he would lie, but maybe even God couldn't stand it anymore, and didn't give him this chance at all. "President Ian, your mother's call." He snatched the phone and smashed it. "Get out." I smiled mockingly, never thinking that I would not only reveal that I was deceived today, but also experience being betrayed. Seeing me appear in front of you so embarrassed, are you very proud? Having a stupid girlfriend like me who loves you. Being kept in the dark by you for 3 years. Ian, who are you worthy of? I was too weak to shed tears, took off the reindeer costume and wanted to leave, but Ian grabbed me. I slapped him backhand. In front of everyone, Ian felt that he couldn't get off the stage and intensified his tone. Yes, I was wrong to hide it from you. But haven't you deceived me? Why were you able to enter the company under JS Technology without an exam? Shouldn't you also explain it to me? That's because the boss of JS Technology is my best friend, and my educational level, even if I go in to be a vice president, is more than enough. But in order not to hurt his self-esteem as a working man, I am willing to be just a small employee. I didn't expect that at this time he would still bite back. I wiped my tears. I am innocent to you. I once told Ian my true identity, but he didn't take it seriously, but said that I was crazy about money, and then joked about the identity of the Qian gene of the Stella family. Thinking about it now, he despised me in his bones. Ian, do you think I, Stella, am not worthy of you? 2. Putting aside his poor status, whether it is education or ability, I am no worse than him. I have the courage to endure a lifetime of hardship with him. Why does he have to lie to me? What are the quirks of rich people? Sitting in his luxury car. The nameplate bags placed in the back seat are all new models of the season. It's like playing games. In the daytime, he is my poor boyfriend's, and at night, he is the young master of the rich and wealthy. I still remember the snowy night 3 days ago. Our electric car was unable to move on the ice, and I was so frozen that my legs almost lost consciousness. And where did he go? The date on the receipt recorded that on the same night, he said he would help me find a doctor through connections, but he was with Savannah, spending a lot of money in the mansion. Subconsciously stroking the calves that still ache from the cold, my nose tingles slightly. Did he even have a little pity for me? Ian, is this the little girlfriend you keep outside? Savannah has exquisite makeup and hair, and as soon as she enters the car, there is a strong smell of powder. I hate her description, as if I am an outside room that destroys her relationship. Come on, wipe it, look at your face is red and peeling. It's really distressing. She handed over a hot towel. Her manicures were expensive, and the gorgeousness of the diamonds piled up made people unable to look away. Her hands are even more delicate and white, and she can tell that she grew up in a pampered environment. On the other hand, the difficult life of the past 3 years has made me lose the qualifications for maintenance and beauty. Not to mention that a pair of hands has become rough, and the face is even more plain and outrageous. And they seem to be people from different worlds. No need for your hypocrisy. Seeing this, Ian immediately defended her. Stella, can't you change your temper? I pampered you, so you really take yourself as a young lady? It's really rude. It's okay, Ian. I think Stella's character is straightforward, don't be angry. I was spoiled by my parents since I was a child. Because of my studies, I went abroad to study, and I was even more indulged by my cousins outside. When he loved me, even if I overturned his workbench, he praised me for being straightforward and lovely. When he doesn't love me, even if I reply to his sweetheart, I will be criticized with a cold face. But I am a young lady, why should I be angry with them? I didn't speak any more along the way, listening to them talking about the interesting things of the upper class. Everyone they mentioned I knew, but I couldn't get in half a sentence. After being with Ian, I made up my mind to let go of the prosperity of that world. But I didn't expect that the only one who was stupid was me. Back in the 40-square-meter home, Ian slumped on the sofa in an expensive suit, looking awkward no matter how he looked. Stella, I never thought about hiding it from you, but you also know that the Ian family has a big business and cannot marry a woman with ulterior motives. This is our family's test for you. Congratulations on successfully passing. So I should be grateful for his deception? He has money and power. How can he turn a blind eye to my suffering? Just because of this light and fluttering test. Last year, there was a heavy rain in B City. In order to pick him up and go home on a rainy day, I was molested by hooligans and almost lost my virginity. But he watched the whole process without any response. I only thought that he was unable to do anything at the time. Thinking about it now, maybe it was just a test in the young master's mouth. It's too absurd. At this moment, Ian's phone suddenly rang, and he was in the bathroom. Ian, the truth has been revealed. Will you still come to GY building in the future? Without you, I don't even have the appetite to drink. I clenched the phone and trembled with anger. So what part-time work is fake? His so-called work in GY building is just changing his identity and going back to live his carefree life. What are you doing with my phone? I didn't speak, and he redialed the phone. I hung up. Hello? Not long after, he came back from the balcony with an apologetic face. Stella, now that things have come to this, let's be honest with each other. I won't lie to you. I am indeed Ian of the Ian family's company, but I am also your Ian. I am completely innocent with Savannah. It's just that her parents entrusted her to our family to take care of her, and I have to be responsible for her. Just now Savannah said that she encountered some trouble, and I have to go and see. After speaking, he took out a stack of cash from his briefcase. In the future, our Stella won't have to work hard anymore. When Savannah's birthday comes, I will formally introduce you to everyone. He thought he could see emotion from my face, but I looked indifferent, even a little calm. Before going out, Ian specially instructed, by the way, you should quickly throw away the gold chain on your neck. If Savannah doesn't say it, I don't even know. The eldest lady of the Stella family also has one. If you run into it at the banquet, then the lady will definitely be unhappy. After all, you can't be related to the eldest lady just because you have the same surname, right? 3. His words were filled with condescension and charity, but the necklace on my neck is genuine, and you can't find a few like this with such good gold-saving craftsmanship in the whole country. Ian would rather treat it as a counterfeit than believe that I am the Stella lady. Be careful when you go out. It's best not to be hit by a car and die. He hugged me and dropped a kiss. I know Stella is the most understanding. Such a character is worthy of being our Ian's wife. I slightly covered my eyes, blocking the disdain in my eyes. Ian must think that I am very happy. The poor boy who has been with me for 3 years has risen to the top. And he is rich. But I only feel extremely disgusted. After all, what I love is the pure and kind young man who does everything for his dreams. After he left, I rummaged through the boxes and found the phone card I used before and plugged it in again. Savannah's contact information is clearly listed. 3 minutes ago, she also posted a social media post. In the magnificent clubhouse, she sat side by side with Ian. The man beside him was holding a chip, his face unfathomable, whereas the rural boy Ian, who refused to bend his waist for money and devoted himself to studying and striving. I'm so stupid. My mother saw that he was not simple at a glance, but I foolishly argued, saying that children from poor families take care of their families early and are mentally mature. Come out and meet fiancé. Hunter called, and the location was exactly where Ian was. I recombed my makeup and appeared. Hunter put a mask on me and brought me to sit beside him. At this time, I was only 1 step away from Ian. Stella, it would be great if you had followed me earlier. You have to play that idol drama. Look, you've gotten yourself in? Hunter and I have known each other since childhood. We often hang out together abroad. I know he likes me, but I was stubborn and willful. After sneaking back to China, I deliberately hid my identity in order to prevent him from finding me. I didn't expect to get along with Ian, who also hid his identity by mistake. It can only be said that fate is tricking people. What do you want me to do? Make me sick? I just experienced a heartbreak, and I don't have a good tone. Hunter was already used to it and hugged my waist meaningfully. To make you give up. Sure enough, someone got up from our table and took the initiative to go to Ian's side to chat. When it was mentioned whether Savannah was his other half, Ian did not refute it. In an instant, my heart went from numb to torn, and I was in pain. I got up to leave, but was pulled back by Hunter. He used my phone to send a message to Ian, saying that I was feeling unwell, and asked him to go home now. Watch carefully. I did keep my eyes fixed, and saw Ian glanced at the phone roughly, and then did nothing. He doesn't care at all. But just now, a phone call from Savannah called him away from me. 4. It was very late when Ian came back reeking of alcohol, carrying a box of tiramisu in his hand. I brought it for you specially. It's hard for him to still be thinking of me, but I don't care to eat what others have left. But he didn't notice my already pale face and asked, touching my lower abdomen, "Is your stomach still uncomfortable? Do you want me to take you to the hospital?" "Go to the hospital? Do you think I, the real girlfriend, am not qualified to invite your family's private doctor? The service and ability of a private doctor are many times better than a registered one. If Ian really cared, why bother asking? But he obviously has no patience now. Can you stop being childish? I know you're not sick, you're just jealous of Savannah. Stella, I don't want you to be so immature." Maybe feeling that the tone was too harsh, Ian coaxed again. "It's too late now. Even if you really want a private doctor to see you, you have to wait until tomorrow. Be good." I didn't speak. Ian assumed that this matter had passed, and dug another bite of cake and fed it to my mouth. "Still angry?" I shook my head. "I'm just wondering, what should I wear for Miss Savannah's birthday?" He looked suspicious. "Are you really thinking about this?" Ian obviously didn't believe it. With my past temper, I should have been making a fuss endlessly. How could I be so easy to talk now? But I just smiled lightly. "I'm too happy to have a good life with you. Why would I be angry?" Ian obviously agreed with my words and started choosing dresses for me happily, completely unaware that I had already made up my mind to leave. On the day of the birthday party, Ian, under the pretext of going back to the Ian's house to arrange things, sent a driver to pick me up. I ignored it and went with Hunter. Unexpectedly, before the banquet even started, Savannah gave me a blow first. "Miss Stella, the Ian family will not accept you. You are from a humble background, and you are not worthy of him at all." Before I could react, Savannah grabbed my wrist, looked at the diamond ring Hunter gave me and laughed. "Everyone come and see, is this diamond ring fake?" A girl in a pink dress said, "This ring is called Star. It seems to be bought by President Hunter for Miss Stella of the richest family." I didn't expect the woman that young Master Ian likes to be so vain. She and Miss Stella have the same name and surname, but they have different fates. Hearing this, the sarcasm in my eyes almost overflowed. In the past, these young ladies followed me like puppies, calling me Miss Stella. I just haven't appeared for a few years, and one or two of them are just wallflowers, and they have all collapsed. "Have you said enough? Miss Savannah, have you finished venting now?" Unexpectedly, I didn't lose my composure like this, and Savannah gradually restrained her smile. "I really underestimated you. Why don't we bet on who Ian loves?" Before I could react, she suddenly hit me, and my lower back hit a long table, and the champagne tower of more than 70 floors collapsed instantly. "Be careful." Ian happened to appear, a few steps away from us, but I saw with my own eyes that he rushed towards Savannah first, tightly protecting her under him, and I was hit by the falling champagne glass and fainted on the spot in a pile of glass shards. "Stella! Stella!" After Ian comforted her, he hurriedly picked me up. Someone exclaimed, "Blood! Young Master Ian, she's bleeding." Ian then realized, stretched out his big hand, and took a look, his eyes full of red. "Blood? How can there be blood?" 5. When I woke up again, Ian's eyes were bloodshot. "Stella, you're finally awake. You scared me to death. How could you bump into the table? Does your stomach still hurt?" I'm sorry. I know that saying 10,000 sorries can't make up for your trauma. I really didn't expect things to turn out like this. It was me who didn't take care of Savannah. But she didn't mean it either. She didn't expect you to be pregnant." "Pregnant? How could I be pregnant? My period just ended not long ago." It was Ian who saw blood flowing from my legs and preconceived that I had a miscarriage, but in fact it was glass fragments that pierced and scratched it. "Stella, look." Before I could tell the truth, Ian took out a ring, which was the one I saw at the counter a long time ago. "You don't have to envy others. What others have, you can also have." Ian wanted to take off the one Hunter gave me, but seeing me dodge, his brows furrowed. "Stella, don't you want to marry me?" "Can I marry? Ian, do you really want to marry me?" There was no joy in my eyes, but instead, there was a lot of disappointment. The ring he chose was only 30,000 yuan, which was not even as good as the diamonds used to set the edge of the ring on my hand. Now he is already the young master of the dignified Ian family. But for me, he is still so stingy. Do you think this diamond is too small? Ian suddenly sneered. So Savannah was right, you have really changed. How can you be so greedy for money? No matter how big the diamond ring on your hand is, it is also a fake and does not belong to you. It was you who said you liked this one, so I specially bought it. What else are you not satisfied with? I forcefully waved his hand away, word by word. That's because I wanted to save you money. Otherwise, do you think I can't afford it? Do I need you to spend money? And I don't have anything to be dissatisfied with, Ian. It's you who feel from the bottom of your heart that I don't deserve better. That's all. So stop putting hats on me, Stella. I'm not that cheap. I suddenly became depressed, and Ian's astonishment flashed by. Stella, you misunderstood me. I directly interrupted him. Ian, I can't tolerate any flaws in my eyes. Facing each other, my voice was hoarse with an unquestionable tone. You and Savannah are each other's first love. You can't cut it off. I can't accept it. So let's end it. Let today be a farewell, we break up. I don't need his charity like love, which makes me feel that I can't see the light. Stella should have been shining brightly. Break up? How can you break up with me? Or have I treated you badly? Ian was a little anxious, but I don't understand. In front of him, there are obviously better choices. Why should he be obsessed with me and not let go? Could it be that with me, he has a greater sense of accomplishment? Using my inferiority and dignity in exchange for being superior. He is not afraid that he will not be able to bear it. Stella. Just as he was about to say something, Savannah suddenly came in with a doctor. Ian, this woman is lying to you. She is not pregnant at all. The doctor, at her suggestion, added fuel to the fire, saying that I deliberately advanced my period in order to perform this scene. Ian was still foolishly believing it, looking at me in disbelief. You designed me? Seeing this, I didn't even want to pretend anymore and sneered. I just woke up, what did I say? It was you who were preconceived. Without this child, you probably never thought about marrying me. His panic was fleeting, obviously confirming my words. In an instant, I suddenly felt worthless for my 3 years of relationship. But he quickly promised me again. After you come back to the Ian's house with me, you will have fine clothes and food, and you will never have to suffer. Isn't this good? Stella, I can ignore everything you did to Savannah. It's just that to the outside world, Savannah is now in the rising stage of her career and must need my help. You can understand, right? He doesn't care. Now it's me who wants to settle accounts with him. He, Ian, has done so many wrong things. What qualifications does he have to care? Moreover, the meaning in his words is to ask me to swallow my anger, acquiesce in his relationship with Savannah, and let me be an invisible mistress. It's too absurd. When has Stella ever been so cowardly? No need. I took a deep breath, fearing that I would not be able to hold back my emotions and slap him. Ian, I said, we break up. You are not worthy of me. I didn't expect my character to be so strong. With outsiders present, Ian felt that he couldn't get off the stage and pointed at me and said, You are simply unreasonable. He left with Savannah, and even the hospitalization fee was paid out of my own pocket. The nurse came and couldn't help but sigh. MS. Stella, your boyfriend is really not a thing. Your legs are already injured like this, and you can still rest assured to leave you alone in the hospital. I glanced at the place where the medicine was being changed. The wound had slightly scabbed over, which was simply horrible. Such a glaring injury, but Ian was like a nobody. His heart and eyes were only on Savannah. Oh right, and that non-existent child. For 7 consecutive days, Ian did not appear again. Later, it was Thea, the president of JS Technology, my best friend, who accompanied me out of the hospital. I heard that Ian came to the company to find you, found that you resigned, and also paid a high liquidated damages, and checked everywhere who lent you money. 6. It's been so long since I was discharged from the hospital, and he's still putting on an act. I don't know who he's pretending to be affectionate to. Thea was overjoyed. Who else could it be for? He clearly can't bear to part with you, but he can't let go of the benefits that Savannah brings him. If he finds out that you are the daughter of the richest man, I'm afraid Savannah will be kicked aside immediately. In the past, I would have dismissed these words. But now, I am 100% sure that this is the disgusting thing Ian can do. I moved out of that small house, did not return to the Stella's house, but asked my mother to buy me a new property. Ian doesn't know where he got the new address, and he's been sending me lovesick messages every day. And his reluctance is ultimately a burden. This day, I went to have afternoon tea with Thea and ran into Savannah filming here. Shameless vixen. She came over without saying a word and blocked my way, looking aggressive as if I was the other woman. I raised my eyebrows slightly and said with a hint of provocation, "Dare to be more sophisticated in your cursing skills? You can't control the man you like. What kind of prestige are you showing me? Savannah, you're just like that. Anyway, we have already broken up, and there is no need to be polite. Besides, I don't need to please her." Savannah took into account her reputation outside and gritted her teeth in a low voice. "If you hadn't been playing hard to get and deliberately seducing him, how could he not forget you? You clearly used some tricks. This woman has a lot of inner drama." I said, "I have already broken up with Ian." I folded my arms and snorted coldly. "It's him who doesn't give up until he hits the south wall. What's my business? Besides, what is there for him to deliberately seduce me? Is everyone as blind as you? I warn you, if you disturb my good mood again, believe it or not, I will make you regret meeting me here." As soon as the words fell, Savannah and her companions smiled contemptuously. "Just you? Stella, are you crazy to say such things? Don't think I don't know what you're planning. It's nothing more than clinging to Hunter and thinking that you can soar to the sky. The real thing is not in good health, and Hunter can't enjoy it, so he found you a counterfeit. But a counterfeit is always a counterfeit, and a sparrow can never become a phoenix even if it flies to a branch." Savannah's triumphant look has already made me eager to see her face slapped. I don't know if she can still hold up this face after being taught a lesson. I didn't respond to her and exchanged a look with Thea sitting opposite. A few minutes later, Savannah's agent led her over to apologize to Thea. "It's our artist who is ignorant. Please don't remember the villain's mistakes." Thea pointed at me. "These words should be said to this lady." I watched Savannah's face turn into a pig's liver color and couldn't help but sigh that Hunter's reputation was so useful. What if the Savannah family and the Ian family are rich? There is still not much background in B City. In front of me, they are all insignificant little characters. I watched her quietly, without adding any difficulties, but Savannah was unwilling to bow her head. "You wait. I'll let Ian come over and make you look good." "Okay, I'll wait. Come one more, and I will humiliate a pair. It's good to have a big tree to lean against. Today, I will play with them to the end." Ian heard that I was here, or heard that Savannah was in trouble, and came very quickly. He first looked Savannah up and down, and after confirming that she was fine, he walked towards me. "Stella, you don't need to use these tricks for me at all, as long as you admit your mistake to me." I gave him a backhand slap. Today, I am no longer concealing anything, and the high heels I wore when I went out just happened to come in handy. If it wasn't for the 3 years of affection, do you think I would stand here and listen to your nonsense? If you can't speak, then shut up. Also, I already have a fiancé. 7. Seeing me do it, everyone present was taken aback, especially Thea, who directly exclaimed, "That was a great hit." She has witnessed how I loved Ian to the death. Now that I have finally woken up, she is the happiest person for me. "Thea, let's go." But Ian was still not giving up, chasing after him with 5 palm prints on his face. "Stella, do you have to be so heartless? Hunter has a fiancé. You can't climb up to him." "That's interesting. I can't climb up to him, but I can marry you. Is that what you mean?" I raised my leg and kicked him hard on the knee, finally getting rid of him. He cried out in pain and squatted down. I looked at Ian condescendingly, my voice cold. "Ian, I'm not a fool. Take care of your woman, and come to provoke me again. It's not as simple as an endorsement and a slap. Understand?" Thea silently gave me a thumbs up. This is the first time in the 20 years she has known me that I have said such harsh words to someone. But I didn't expect that the saying, "It's a narrow road for enemies," would be so realistic. That night, we met again at the racetrack. The internet is saying that you and President Ian are getting married soon. Is it true? If you marry President Ian, will you temporarily put aside your acting career and focus on running the family? May I ask if the combination of the two of you is due to a family marriage? Savannah and Ian were surrounded by a large group of reporters. Although they were asking personal questions, the two of them did not have the slightest displeasure on their faces. These questions time will give the answer. It's really as vague as ever. Savannah, say a few more words. The reporters wanted to chase in, but Ian directly picked her up like a princess, blocking everyone's sight. Exclamations continued to sound, and the flashes even illuminated the semi-dark night. Thea sneered. It's really a high-profile big star. I don't know when Ian appeared behind him. Hearing this, he thought Thea was expressing envy, and even started drawing cakes. Stella, as long as you can let go of your grudges and we get back together, you will be able to be so glamorous in my arms in the future, accept media interviews, and no longer be an unknown ordinary person. Hearing this, the way I looked at him changed. Is it a matter of great pride to be entangled with a scandal-prone person like you? If I had known that he was the third young master of the Ian family, I would not have been with him at all. Who doesn't know that the third young master of the Ian family had a bad reputation in high school, but he only restrained himself after moving back to the old house. Ian, I said I don't care. And have you forgotten? We have already broken up. I obviously took a big step back. So, please keep your distance. Stella. Why are you so stubborn? Ian was greatly puzzled and was so annoyed that he was about to tear his hair apart. I love you, don't you understand? I even started preparing for our wedding a long time ago. Even the veil for the wedding was designed by myself. He hurriedly searched in the phone album. Look. These are all made according to your preferences. I'm not lying to you. Why do you doubt me so much just because of some groundless rumors? Savannah and I really have nothing. The only person I love is you, and it will always be you. Then I promise you that I will no longer interact with her in the future, okay? As soon as this was said, I felt a little surprised. He was actually able to make such a guarantee. Seeing that I didn't respond, he approached again. Forgive me, okay? In the future, there will only be me and you. We will live a good life. My emotion of being moved rose, but did not last for 5 seconds, and was quickly beaten back to its original shape by the lipstick mark on the white t-shirt inside his jacket. Stop being silly. Wasn't the scene I saw on B Mountain before exciting enough? And at this very moment, his and Savannah's hot search has soared to the top of the real-time list. No one clarified, and the screen was full of blessings. Ian, I said, a relationship that can be shared is not always consistent. Are you willing to clarify? Tell everyone that you and her have nothing to do with each other. He hesitated. Ian didn't even dare to look me in the eye. I smiled lightly, not knowing whether I was mocking him or looking down on myself. I just thought that he would be willing to clarify. At least this way I could prove that what I liked before was not a bad person. Obviously, I thought too much. Ian tried to make up for it. Stella, I can give you a title. We get married? Get married, okay. Is it a privilege to enter your Ian family's household registration book? I restrained my anger and wanted to return to the arena. Get out. 8. Since I'm already here, I should have a good time on the racetrack. Besides, since I met a scumbag who ruined my mood today, I should go crazy to relieve my anger. It's been a long time since I've driven. Are you okay? I smiled. Just this venue? You underestimate me too much. When I used to play racing with Hunter and his gang abroad, those were all extremely high-risk projects, and I could still get the first place. So tangled, afraid that there is no good car for you to choose? Savannah clapped her hands, and someone came over immediately. Come, open the permissions of these cars, and let Miss Stella choose. Looking at her like a nouveau riche, I almost couldn't help but laugh out loud. People in the circle are not fools. Savannah's good endorsement was messed up. It seems that Thea came forward. But everyone will know that it is related to the Stella family if they check carefully. Everyone is mixing in the circle, and the behavior of following the trend is naturally closely following the wind direction. Within an hour, multiple parties announced that they would suspend their contracts with Savannah. Even Ian's investment was of no avail, and even suffered a connection, affecting the stock of the Ian family. That's why she was in a hurry to find the media to create momentum for her relationship. But even so, she is still so stubborn when she sees me now. Savannah, you are really stupid. Didn't I warn you not to come to me again? The little sisters around her also persuaded her to leave, but she insisted on competing with me today. Okay, then I have opened all the permissions for you, but you can spend money to drive away. Savannah was triumphant, and she tried her best to see me make a fool of myself. Unexpectedly, my cousin who was far away abroad suddenly appeared. With me as your brother, how can Stella pay for it herself? 9. They may not know me, but it is impossible not to know Grant. Among the younger generation, he has the largest commercial territory except for Hunter. My father often said that it was a pity that Grant was not his own. Miss Savannah, repeatedly provoking, is it bullying my Stella family that there is no one? Ian arrived and was stunned in place when he heard the words, Stella. You are from the Stella family. Facing the petrified two people, I didn't have the pleasure of relying on power to bully others. After all, I have seen such expressions too many times in the past 20 years. The daughter of the richest man, who cannot be afraid in their hearts. It was clear that today's events had nothing to do with Ian, but he insisted on getting involved, as if to avenge himself. How can you hide it from me for so long? Stella, you didn't treat me with sincerity at all. Did I lie to you? I said my identity a long time ago, but you said I was overestimating myself and always thinking about useless things. I smiled coldly. What's wrong, young Master Ian? Now that you know my identity, you want to bite back. Oh, I know, you want to sing your great love for me again? I don't care, but in front of your sweetheart Miss Savannah, isn't it not very good? Pretending to be a green tea who can't. Ian was so embarrassed by my words. In my eyes, no matter what your background is, you are my lover, and it will not change because of whose daughter you are. Is that so? I walked over carelessly and grabbed his ring finger. Obviously, this is a couple ring with Savannah. If it was exposed before, Savannah would definitely stand in the winner's position and show off her power. But now, it is me who is offended. She instantly turned pale and hurriedly put her hand behind her back. Ian said that again. There is innocence between Savannah and me, Stella. You believe me? Now I know how to explain. Ian said again. If you don't like it, I can take it off. Hearing this, I poked his chest. When I was a poor Stella, I asked you, didn't you say that this was Savannah's sincere affection for you? Oh, now you are willing to take it off? As soon as the words fell, the sound of high heels suddenly sounded. A familiar voice came, and everyone sat upright. Ian, I originally thought you were just a poor and humble boy without a family background, but I didn't expect you to be a stingy and ungrateful man. It seems that I have to have a good chat with your father. The Ian family has more than just Ian. I don't want to get involved in their family affairs, but obviously, Ian's ability is not as outstanding as his brother. His brother Flynn has now gradually acquired overseas and is approaching the pace of the headquarters. 10. With my parents coming forward, Ian dared not come to me again, and Savannah was even more needless to say. The people present that day were mostly from the entertainment circle. Knowing that she had offended the Stella family, everyone was adding insult to injury, except for Savannah's own entertainment company that can still invest some resources for her. She can't expect to get much of the cake in the entertainment circle. Things are proceeding in an orderly manner. On the day when Hunter and I were choosing wedding dresses, Ian appeared again. This time he was particularly haggard, and even the way he looked at me was with strong guilt and inferiority. Hunter told me that his brother had completely taken over and has now taken over 80% of the family's business. Stella, have you really decided to marry him? Ian didn't even dare to stare at me for a long time. I don't know what his brother did that gave him such a big blow. The 3 years between us Can't it compare to his mere 100 days? I know you hate me for being hesitant before, swaying between you and Savannah. Blame me for not making my identity public earlier, and dragging you to suffer together. But I have my own difficulties. You also know that my brother, I have to leave a way out for myself. If I don't love you, I won't waste 3 years on you. As he spoke, he took out a hand-carved little figure, which was the appearance of our dream wedding. Stella, I love you. Can you give me one last chance? He carved it with difficulty, and his hands were covered with traces of the knife, which can be said to be scarred. But a relationship has already broken. How can these things make up for it? I looked at him, with a look of helplessness and more of sympathy. Ian, you are too naive. Instead of spending your mind here, it's better to think about how to pull your brother down. But it is obviously impossible. Is love really that important? Or do you think that marrying me will give you the courage to compete with your brother? If this is the case, then I really despise you. Hunter stood aside without saying a word. At this point, he came over and took my hand. Ian, you are not worthy of such a good girl like Stella. Stop thinking about using her. But Ian was obviously trapped in a dead end. In the end, he chose to marry Savannah, but this did not change any results. On the day of my wedding with Hunter, it was Flynn who attended as Ian's family and even gave a generous gift on behalf of the elders. Obviously, Ian's wishful thinking failed. This is what my brother asked me to give to the bride. Flynn handed over a red velvet box, and Hunter took it for me. Opening it, it was a ring inside. It is no longer a cheap store item, but a pink diamond worth a lot of money, engraved with the initials of my name and Ian's name. The date was half a year ago. My brother said he was sorry for you, but some words once spoken are meaningless. Flynn is a person who knows how to assess the situation. Back in the wedding room, I threw it into the drawer casually and sealed it forever. It's not that I'm reluctant to throw it away, but if I run out of money someday, I can still take it out for emergency use. Little fatty, come and count the money. Here it comes. I locked the drawer. Let all the past things stay in today.